Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, today we need to look at the last EX from Triple Beat. Turns out there was exactly one EX that had not yet been revealed, but it has now been revealed, and it's Lycanroc. I know. How do you like and rock that? And I gotta say, before we start off here, right, how are you? Been doing great art on the Pokemon TCG for a long time now, but goodness gracious me, this is one of the better Kawaii artworks. I absolutely adore this. Although the more EXs I see, the more I am of the opinion that you can see that the bottom half of the card is slightly translucent, so you can kind of see the artwork a little bit. Why not just make it completely translucent and show us the art properly? You know, that could be fun, right? Yeah. So what we got here is 260 HP, which is fine. It's about standard, really, for a Stage 1 EX, it looks like. A weakness to Grass, which nobody's really taken advantage of right now, which is lovely. And single energy, 40 damage. Look, single energy 40 is... it's fine. You will get a bunch of Pokemon with that. You would get Dunsparce, except Pokemon in play that are colorless have no weakness. So Dunsparce takes away its own weakness, so you actually won't get Dunsparce, which is actually really annoying because this would be great against Dunsparce. But small, weak Pokemon, you'll get them. And to be fair, you can, whack a choice belt on here and do 100 to a Pokemon V that's weak, and that's fine. It's okay. It's a kind of attack that I would like quite a lot on a basic Pokemon. On a Stage 1 Pokemon, it's, well, I think I said fine a minute ago, and I think that sums it up quite nicely. I think it's fine. I think there are going to be plenty of times where this will do a little bit of damage, but you only need to do a little bit of damage, and this will work quite nicely. But it's not amazing. It is a decent attack, and nothing more. So what do we have as a big fancy attack, a reason to play the card, so to speak? Well, we've got 1 fighting, 2 colorless energy, 140 damage. If this Pokemon takes any damage from an attack during your opponent's next turn, put 10 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. Okay. This we could kind of have a bit of fun with. But we've seen this before. Like, I'm thinking back to Turtonator GX with Shell Trap. 2 energy, 20 damage during your opponent's next turn. If this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, put 8 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. And this is pretty good. Like, we've seen plenty of if it's damaged, take damage things before. But Turtonator was the one that really made me look up and go, well, hang on a second. That's 8 damage counters. That's like a legitimately large amount of damage. Maybe we can have a little bit of fun with this. And then, of course, more recently, we had Galarian Stunfisk V. 2 energy, 60 damage during your opponent's next turn. If this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, put 12 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So this was kind of 50% more even than Turtonator, and that was clearly a very, very good thing. This built up pretty gosh darn nicely. And then, of course, more recently, I've been getting very excited about Chestnut V, with the ability Needle Line. If your active Chestnut V is damaged by an attack, even if it's knocked out, put 3 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. But the wording here actually becomes really important, because that is the case for all your Chestnut at once, i.e. if you've got 4 Chestnut out, and your active Chestnut gets damaged, all of your Chestnut activate, and then all of a sudden you get to put 12 damage counters on. So my point is, we've seen this before, and I will tell you, Turtonator saw a bunch of play. Turtonator did legitimately see a bunch of play, but there are caveats here. For instance, it's a basic Pokemon. It was around at a time where we had Welder, and Fire decks were pretty gosh darn good. Fire decks were everywhere, so this was very easily teched in. Neither of those apply to Lycanroc. Fighting decks are not seeing a huge amount of play right now, and we don't see this as a basic Pokemon. It's a stage 1. And let's be honest with you, the attack cost here is a little bit awkward. And then we go back to this and we go, yeah, I don't know. This is a little bit awkward. Because you see, the numbers here are great. The numbers on Lycanroc are brilliant. The fact that you're doing 140 is great. The fact that you then put 10 damage counters is great. The problem is, it's a stage 1 with free energy. Now, look, we all know we got, I want to say Gritty Pickaxe it was translated as over here. But either way, no, wasn't Gritty Pickaxe. I'm lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. It was Gutsy Pickaxe. There we go. But, that, that's the one whereby you get to look at the top card of your deck. And if it's a fighting energy, attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. Otherwise, it goes into your hand. And you can use Gutsy Pickaxe here. And, of course, it's 2 energy. So we can use double turbo. And sure, you'll have to do 20 less damage, which is a little bit sad. But still, it works. And that's all right. And there is a chance here you can use Gutsy Pickaxe and double turbo energy to just get this rolling in one turn. And of course it's a stage 1, so you can kind of attach one turn, and then the following turn you attach again, and then you're off and raring to go. This can work. My problem is I'm not loving the stage 1, and I'm not loving the amount of energy you need, and I gotta be honest with you here. It's also worth pointing out that 140 is not a key number. Like, 140 is most definitely not a key number. So you'll be 2-hit KOing basically anything, including V-Stars. And then you'll be putting 10 damage counters on when you're hit back. Which on the one hand sounds really good. But then on the other hand, it's a bit like, well, I'm 2-hit KOing, but then they're taking 100 in the meantime. And look, against a single prize deck, what you could end up doing is doing 140, getting a KO. They attack you, you get a KO. Then you do 140 and take a KO. And then they finish you off and you take a KO. And round we go. And if that works, that's lovely. But I've got to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I am unsure as to how often that is actually going to work. And that really is a little bit of a pain to me. I'm not 100% sure. And to be fair, if I do 140 to, say, a Lugia V-Star, and then they KO me and take 100, well, that's still 240. That's not enough. That's not a KO. Even if I use a choice bout, that's 270, that's not a KO. So here, I'm left with a bunch of downsides. The fact that it's a stage 1, the fact that it is a free energy attack, the fact that I'm not hitting the key numbers. But we saw this with Turtonator in the past, and I've seen people doing this with Galarian Stunfisk, and actually, there is a scenario here where in the right matchup, this could end up being really, really good. And don't forget, if you're playing around with Lycanroc here, because you've got the whole, they use their correct evolution lines nowadays, you can use other Lycanroc. Now, I actually really like the Lycanroc from Chilling Reign. The problem is, it's dependent on how many single strike Pokemon are in your discard pile, and this isn't a single strike Pokemon, so the chance of being able to combine these two and making something out of it is, well, it's slim, ladies and gentlemen. It is a little bit slim. I don't think it's going to work. I'm sorry. What I will say is, however, that we do have the Lycanroc that came around in Crown Zenith, which is 2 energy, 240, minus 80 for each energy attached to your opponent's active. So if you are playing around with Lycanroc here, you can actually tech this one in, and then there will be times you can actually take advantage of this one as well to get some big attacks off, and you do have a couple different ones you can play with. That is a pretty good advantage. And yes, I'm obviously going to mention the Okacheke Rockruff here, because it's just absolutely stunning in terms of artwork. Speaking of Rockruff, we do have a new Rockruff coming in here. It's not particularly good, and it's completely vanilla, so you don't need a translation from me on this one. I should say I translated this myself. I checked with Anton, but I did translate myself. Single energy 10, free energy 40, it's got 70 HP, it's fine. But it does at least have 70 HP, which is a bit of an advantage. Now, that's it in terms of EXs for this particular set. So, because there aren't any more to look at, I thought just for the last minute or so of this video, it would be nice to have a look at which ones we've got. We have obviously got the Meowscarada, the Skeledirge, and the Quaquavel. I've shown you all of these. I'll try and remember to pop links in the description. We've then got the Clodsire EX. That's one with a really good ability that poisons your opponents active if there's a stadium in play. I like it. I'm going to try and make it work. And the only Terrestrial EX in the entire set is Dedenne, which actually means something pretty important. There is one Terrestrial EX in every special set. There's 2 in the main set, although really it was a double set, so there was 1 in each. It looks like there is going to be 1 Terrestrial Pokemon per set, but where it's a double set, you will get 2. What I will say is, with 6 Pokemon EX in the set in total, you buy a box, you should get 4 of them. We'll get confirmation about pull rates hopefully next week, and when we do, I will of course bring you all that news. So, buying a box of this, if you can get hold of a box, which is admittedly getting a lot harder than it used to be, but if you can get hold of a box of this, it means that you basically get 4 of the 6 EXs in one box. That ain't bad, ladies and gentlemen. That ain't bad at all. In terms of a score for Lycanroc, I'm giving it 3 Wassies. I do think there is potential here. I don't think it's a game-breaking card, but I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassie. That's where we talk Pokemon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, chat with us about anything. It doesn't have to be Pokemon. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Danger Morales, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So thank you very much for the support and for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.